Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Carlos. Today we will be getting into a short abdominal, chest, and arm session. Before we do, please hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, post notifications so you get your updates every time I put up a video. And okay, let's get into this. So, first thing I want to get into, before we get into the routine per se, is the concept of progression, of progressing. I'm obsessed with this, of course. I want to progress and I want to make gains. I want to grow. And I see that many people also want to do this, but they don't progress. They don't make any changes in their body. They're not getting stronger in the gym. And they seem to be doing the same thing over and over again. And why is this so? Why is it? I believe it's a lack of understanding. It's a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of information. So let's go back to the beginning when we all started lifting weights. We all wanted to get bigger or get more muscles, get a six-pack or whatever. And we're told, do these exercises and you will develop muscle. Many of us didn't really particularly learn about nutrition. They said, eat well. What the hell is that? Just to eat nutritious food. I remember reading the Weeder magazines way back in the day. Lee Haney, and he would have these groceries, he'd wrap his arms around the grocery, you'd see a baguette, a thing of French bread, a loaf of French bread, and he had cheese, all kinds of things. He eats well. My God, like today when I know the secret of the science of calories, of energy balance, and this is what produces, either you store energy or you lose energy depending on how much you eat. I said, we were in the dark ages back then. Like the masses, the gym bros, the people who really didn't have access to this knowledge, were told to eat well and train. Just go to the gym and lift weights. My God. I mean, how ignorant, like really, and no wonder people who learned under these schemes, like really didn't make that much progress. They would, just by happenstance make progress. If you give a lot of effort to your routines in the gym, like you're really one of those guys who puts in, or girls who puts in a lot of effort into their routines, you will make progress. It's all about effort. But there comes a point where you're not going to progress optimally, and you'll hit walls, and then you won't, go beyond that. So there is a concept that's called periodization. You do 6 to 8 weeks of a certain style of training, then you change your routine. Many people were familiar with that, but they weren't really exposed to the science behind it. Like, why would you change your routine? What's the purpose? So let me review the basic forms of training, and people get very ideological. They have these ideologies about that. They get fanaticized by a way of training, not understanding that you can train every way, any way, for a certain period of time. So say you're a new beginner. How would you go about training? Twice a day, doing arms in the morning and calves in the evening? No, you don't do that. You do upper, lower body? No, you don't do that. I put a newbie, a person who has never trained before, to do full body 3 times a week. Full body. You train from head to toe, every single muscle, one set. Do 1 set of legs, 1 set of calves, 1 set of abdomen, 1 set of chest, 1 set of back, 1 set of shoulders, 1 set of biceps, 1 set of triceps, and that's it. 3 times a week. Just enough to get initiated into the exercise. Will that be enough for a person who is advanced? Of course not. So where do you go from full body? Well, you want to do 2 sets now, then 3, and then there's just not enough time to do your full body. It's like it'll take like 2 hours, right, or longer. Because now you're doing 4 sets per exercise, and it starts getting, now you're doing 2 exercises per body part, and it's like, it starts to get out of hand. Now, why do people progress in volume? Because as you get better, as you get stronger, as you get more used to the exercise, you need more volume to develop the muscle. If you work it more, it's going to develop more. But you can't do that with full body once, just 1 set 3 times a week. So you progress into a different period. Now you're doing upper lower. You do your upper body one day and your lower body another day. You take a rest and then you do it again. Now you're training not 3 times a week, but 4. You've advanced. Now in your upper, you can split and do more exercises and more sets. And then there comes a time where that's not enough because you want to really build up your chest, but you don't want to neglect everything else. So now you're doing a push, pull, legs. Now you got 3 different. You split up your body into 3, not just 1, not 2. Now it's 3. And so you have to figure out, how often you go and all this, and then that stops working, and you want to progress even more because you want to devote yourself to bodybuilding. And so now what do? Now you do a full body split. You got a day for legs. You have a day for chest. You got a day for back. You got a day for shoulders. You have a day for arms and abs. See where I'm going at with this? So why would somebody be dogmatic and say it's only, full body is the way to go. That's just the way you train. I do full body when I take a long break and I get back into training because I want to do everything, right? So I do full body. And then I come back the next day and I'll do a full body again, and then I can't do it again, and then I'll start splitting it up. It just naturally starts to fragment for me. So I start with full body, it goes boom. And I end up to the maximum of my ability. I've never gotten to 2 times a day, 6 times a week, which would be a full body split twice a day. Now that's the maximum. You can't do more than that, right? Like realistically. So you go from full body to full split twice a day. And in between that, there's many ways. So it's like, you do fragment and morph and expand into what is your logical limit. Everybody has to find out. So there's many ways of training, of splitting up your routines. Now, the question comes in, how heavy should you train? Well, how heavy can you train? Because people who say it's not about the weight, it's about the technique, they're lying to themselves. They're lying to others. If you go and see how professionals, people who get paid and make money in this sport, how they train, you're not going to see them training light. They're always trying to train heavier than last time. Even the guy in the IFBB who the lightest weight, they'll be doing like 120-pound dumbbells for chest. And then, they're striving to do 130s and 140s. Well, why would you do that if that's not necessary? Because it is necessary. If you want to build up maximum muscle mass, you have to have the equipment to lift that weight. It's all about muscle. And you can't have big muscles without having, the form follows function. It's different to lift 400 pounds on the bench press and to lift 200 with strict technique. So there's different intensities. Well, that's called intensity. How heavy do you train? How often and how frequent? Now, if you go very frequently, that's a sort of volume also. There's a volume in that because you're in 1 week's time, you're cramming in a lot of work by going frequently. But you need time to rest and recuperate. And so there's other variables to this. I'm not trying to make a mishmash and try to Now, I'm not here to lay out the programs. I'm laying out the notion and the concepts of why people do different types of training. You see? You start out with something very basic and you advance to something very extreme. Now, in that advancement, like pros and people who want to gain and progress are always trying to gain and progress in strength also. You want to have a bigger bench, you want to have a bigger squat, you want to do, better hack squat and leg press than last time. People who get stuck with the same exact weights are in a comfort zone and they feel they've attained a certain level, but they're not going to go from one level to the next with the same amount of weight. It's just, come on, guys. Don't fool yourselves. You really think you're going to be Mr. Olympia by lifting 2 plates? No, these guys are doing rack pulls with 5, 6, 7, 8 plates. Why would they do that if it's not necessary? Because it is necessary. It is the only way to beat your competitor who's only doing 6 plates. If you're doing Smith squats with 400 pounds and your competitor is doing now 8 to 10 reps with 500 pounds, he's upped his game. He's bringing his A game. You're not. His legs are going to be more massive than yours. And if he comes in condition, he's going to blow you out of the water. He's got more muscle. Why? He can lift heavier weights. You don't lift heavier weights just by eating a lot of food and not training with those heavy weights. So there's a lot to be said about this, okay? Now, progression. It's all about progression. Now let's get into my particular workout today. Um, Trying to progress on the basic lifts, but today I entered on the chest. So started out with an isolation move, which I rarely ever do. I usually start out these body parts with a compound because that's where I want to get my max in. But I was told by a dear friend of mine that, I'm looking good. He says, you're looking good, your shape and all that, but you need to bring out your outer pecs. Like your delts are dominating your pecs, which is a common thing for many. Okay, so how do I bring those up? Well, do cable flies. Okay, cable. No, don't do them like this. Do them like this. And squeeze up your chest and bring up that chest like here. Okay, so I did that. Started out with that. Worked it. Great. Felt wonderful. From there, went to the bench press. But since my chest was pumped already, I did a maintenance. I just did the weight that I am at my highest level right now, but I didn't progress on that. I left that for next week. I won't do the isolation first. I'll leave it at that. But I did progress on the triceps. Why? Why increase weight on the triceps? I've been doing cable extensions between 40 and 60 pounds. It happens to be a cable where you're seated and you're doing this, and it feels freaking heavy. 4 plates, comfortable. 5 plates, okay. 6 is a challenge. And the other day I tried to put on 7 after I did my 6, and it was just heavy. And so I want to get big arms. I want them to grow. And I know that if I stay between 40 and 60 pounds, that's not going to happen. Just by virtue of staying there with the same weight and doing it over and over and more and more and more and more, they're not going to grow like that. It's not. It doesn't work like that. I'd have to put in a lot more volume maybe. I'd have to do a lot more. But that's progression also. Like even Sergio Nubret, like he was famous for not lifting like heavy, but he had extreme volume workouts. Like he did like 12 sets on that particular muscle. So it is a form of progression. It is a form of progressive overload. I don't want to stay for 2 hours doing triceps extensions. I want to get them out of the way in 3 to 5 sets. And so I started out with my challenge weight for my last session, which was 7 plates. I couldn't do 7 pins. It's a challenge. So I started with those. And I got them up. I got more in there, so I bumped it up to 9. Whoa! Got 2 reps with that. I mean, I could have gotten a lot more. I said, oh, that's enough, because I want to find out where my maximum weight is so I can do a heavy set. I did 10 pins, 100 pounds. And I did it. It's like, okay, I got 6 reps. Okay. And my triceps were sore the next day. That was my last session. Today's session, I went up to 110. And I did it. So from 70 that was a challenge up to 110. That's progression. Now I want to go up to 120. I'm sure I'll hit a limit. There'll be a point where shit, this is like, I can barely do 1. And so, okay, now you bring it down a little bit. Now you're in a working range where you're going to stay there for a few months, and that'll become a comfort zone. And then I'll have to break out of that. And that's progression. Sometimes there's physiological limits. You're not going to be able to do 200 pounds on the triceps extension. Maybe 150 is you're just absolutely not built to go beyond that, and like 150. But then, if you're doing like 150, that's a lot of weight. And so you add more reps. And then you start adding more, dial in the form, dial in the speed, do more sets, do more volume, but you haven't reached that limit yet. That's what I'm trying to get at. So I'm looking for that limit with my triceps. Made great gains with that. That was wonderful. What else did I make gains on? Nothing. I mean, it was like just, one serious gain during a session. That was enough for me. And did my abs. Like I've been saying in the last few sessions, last few weeks, I'm trying to bulk. And I kind of reached a limit right now, like in this first month after my rebound. I jumped up to 204 pounds when I was really packing it. And then I backed off a little bit. And now I'm down to 198. I dropped 6 pounds without being on a diet. I'm not restricting. Like I eat a lot of food. I'm eating. But just by virtue of, dropping a little bit, because I was pushing a lot of food and I just kind of normalized it. But that's good. Like, I have to take averages month over month, and this month averages to like 18 net pounds gained. And that's like, whoa, that's, fuck. That's a lot of weight, actually. And so, I'm happy with that. November will bring its own push. We'll see how that goes. So, the idea is always to strive to make these gains. And to do that, you should keep a training log. Like, I've been very rigorous in keeping training logs. I don't do it now because it's like counting the calories. I know exactly what's, in a spoonful of rice or a cup, or just like I can eyeball the plate dish and, there's 530 calories there. There's 680. I ate 1,000. I know. It's the same thing like with my exercises. And I do keep a mental register. Like, I know exactly, my sessions. And so I don't have to write everything down. And besides, they're on film anyways. Like, since I started filming these things, and, they're there. I can go back and see how many reps did I get last time. I'm very punctilious about that. So I don't really forget those type of things. I have them really hard because I'm so obsessed with them. I know exactly what I did last time. I know I got 4 reps with 4 plates on my squat the other day. It wasn't 3, it wasn't 5, it was 4. So I don't need to write it down. I know that next time I'll go in and I'll try to do 5 or up the weight or something. So I'm always trying to progress in some parameter, some way, somehow. And I am stronger than first semester of this year. There's some things that have absolutely gotten stronger in me, And so why? It doesn't happen just by chance. It happens by pushing the envelope every single session, trying to get better on something somehow. And if things go sideways or, they get stuck for more than a few sessions, then I have to reevaluate what is going on, what technique or what tack I have to change to make that progress happen. The thing is, people, some people are satisfied with spending a long period of time without making progress. And I find that unacceptable, or at least it denotes a lack of vision. Like, what are you trying to do? What is it that you're trying to do? You're just trying to maintain? If you maintain over a long period of time, at the end you will be less than more. Because over time there is a process of attrition and of entropy in the human body. So if you stay the same, you're going down. The only way to hedge against that going down is to always be, as your body should be like deteriorating over the years, you're bringing it up. So instead of doing this maintaining thing going down, if you're maintaining, you're going down slowly, just very slowly. So imperceptibly slow. That's what maintenance is. You're maintaining a degenerating entropic being. It's going downhill, but you're maintaining. You understand? Is this so hard to understand? All right, you guys are intelligent. You understand. So there's a need for progression. That's why they say if you're not progressing, you're regressing. If you're not gaining, you're losing, and it's the absolute truth. It's the absolute truth because we don't maintain forever. We will get, very old one day and die, and so there's a process of attrition, and so you need to be progressing to be progressing. This is the idea. So this is what I want to get out there today. This is my spiel. This is my topic today is to maintain the progression. I'm not giving you exactly the program to do. This isn't, like today, this month, because you're not my client. You're not paying me. I'm not putting content out there, for structuring people's workouts. I'm giving people the notion and the idea of what they need to do. And then they'll go out and say, well, I need to structure. I need to progress. Now what do I need to do? We'll go find out. Oh, I'm doing full body. Maybe I need to do a split. Maybe I need to up my intensity. Maybe I need to try to increase my bench from 1.5 plates to 2 plates one of these days. I always do 1.5 plates. Well, you're going to have to increase. How do you do that? You're not going to do that by doing 12 reps. Perhaps you might have to go in and do singles. You don't do singles. Yeah, you do. Of course you do. Well, who says not? Oh, my trainer, the owner of the gym said you don't do singles. You train with 12 reps until you can do 13, and then when you can do 13, you up the weight. That doesn't work like that. Not for gaining real strength, not in real life. You have to lower you lower the reps. You don't lower the weight, you lower the reps. Try to do 1. Shit, I got 2 plates with 1 rep. That's not going to build muscle. They say, yeah, it will. It will when you string those singles together. Stay a morning, one of these days, spend a morning doing bench press, just doing singles. Do one rep. Wait for 5 minutes. Do another one. Do another one. I did. That's how I conquered 2 plates. That's how I conquered 2.5. That's how I got to 3 plates. I did singles all morning long so I could do 10, 11 singles. Then the next time I did doubles. And then soon I was doing 3, 4, 5 reps. You see how this works? It's time consuming. It definitely is. But it's worth your while because once you get strong, it seems to be that you're strong forever because I'll do 4 plates on the deadlift on any given day. And I don't train them anymore. I just go in, whatever, if I need to do a deadlift, 4 plates. I don't need to spend a month retraining myself. On any given day, I'll start with 2 plates on the bench press, and it's like, that was my maximum single weight at one time, and now it's my easy comfort zone starting out weight. You get stronger over time. See what I mean? Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I'll leave this training video at the end. Do not neglect your abs. Train your abs, regardless of what anybody else says. Abs are made in the kitchen. Bullshit! They're made by training them. They're revealed in the kitchen. You peel off the fat. That's revelation. You reveal them, but they're not made. Have you seen skinny guys who have no abs? They do exist because they don't train them. You got to train the shit that you want to see visible as muscular, right? Oh, they're trained by doing core moves. Yeah, that's true. Are you doing 400-pound squats? Is that the core that you're doing? You're lifting heavy deadlifts? You know, you should be. That's what I was doing before I built my, that's how I built my abs. But nowadays, got to train them. Got to train them. Find out the best ways of training them. I have them there at the end of the video. Those, the planks that you see me doing there by moving and like shrugging and contorting my shoulders is not a plank. It's a serratus intercostal contraction. It's to build out these muscles here. You do that by flexing in a plank position. It's a pseudo push-up with your elbows. You don't push with your chest. You're just crunching in your torso. Anyways, I'll leave you with that. God bless everybody. Till next time. Grabando. Allá iba Nerú, Yair.
Me acuerdo cuando Nerú llegó aquí a Bogotá, era un blanquito, era todo.